Hi, I'm Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. You are tuned in to BraveWords. Lucky bastards.
Backstage at Gigantour 2013 with Mr. Dave Mustaine in Toronto. Last show of the tour. How's the vibe, man?
I personally think it's great. We're finally doing the song with Jason tonight. We've done jams with everybody at one point or another during the tour. Everybody's been hanging out with everybody else, and I personally love when David Draymond comes out and sings "Dance in the Rain" with us. I think that's really cool too. So yeah, it's been really great. The friendship, everybody's, we've been friends for years prior to this, so it just really worked.
Yeah, but it's a little different vibe when you're kind of living together, right, for a number of weeks.
Well, the crazy thing is we've been going so fast, we haven't really had a lot of time to spend with one another. I would personally have liked it a little bit more if that could have been different, but when you're doing a big festival like this and you've got to get from point A to point B, it's just running and gunning the whole time.
Pre-show rituals we were touching base about. Tell me about what is Dave Mustaine's pre-show ritual?
Well, it's pretty boring. At an hour before we go on stage, the band starts doing vocal warm-ups. I have a glass of wine, and at about 30, and that's when all of our guests are asked if they would let us, go do our thing. We don't kick them out. We go and do our own thing. And then at 30 minutes, that's when all of our family leaves, and Dave, Sean, and I, we have like this little kind of meditation thing we do a little bit, and then 10 minutes before, the four of us get in a circle and do like a football huddle kind of, going to war kind of thing, rah, whatever, and then we put on our inners and get ready to go. Now, I know that Dave has a very he gets super wound up and hyper, so he'll hit the bathroom like 20 times before he goes on stage. Chris, I think, does like 400 or 500 push-ups before he goes on, and Sean is listening to all his Coney Hatch records every night. So
the Devil's Deck, man, in the house. We follow you on Facebook, but I haven't been seeing any food photos from Canada. What's going on? You're the pizza man I've been looking at.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's just because New York pizza is so good. I think everybody can agree with that. I love the food up here. In fact, some of the best sushi I've ever had has been up in Canada. And we've had some really wonderful steaks, like at the Keg and stuff like that. And but you know what? I am remiss. I will get more pictures of food up here. I'll
Please, it's barbecue season. Like there's no snow on the ground, so things are actually growing here.
I apologize. It slipped my mind.
So the next step is some Maiden shows, some Black Sabbath shows after Gigantour. What's that feel like, being on that holy ground?
Well, we've actually done this before, so traveling with them again, it's kind of like when you see an old friend, and which we are all old friends. It's also cool too to have weathered the storm and to continue to be relevant, especially like going down to South America with Black Sabbath. That on paper it was an absolute no-brainer, and the fans are losing their minds down there. Brazil is one of the shows, 70,000 people sold out in advance, and they're just freaking out. They're trying to figure out how they can get another show there, and it's relatively almost impossible to do, but just to know that, it's cool.
What are your thoughts on 13 then, and the whole big comeback?
I thought that was kind of interesting, because I was trying to see, my whole thing, 13 shows up everywhere in my life. And I thought, well, that's not their 13th record, is it? Well, was it the 13th of something? I was trying to put some significance to it, and I don't think there really was any. So I like the record. I think it's great. You never really know what you're going to get when you listen to a Black Sabbath record. Is it going to be like Neon Nights when Ronnie was around? Is it going to be like the real early stuff? What is it? So I was pretty pleasantly surprised. I don't have the record memorized by any means, but for the most part. I'm hoping they're going to play a lot of it live when we're down in South America. That would be really cool.
Now, I know this never happens, but if Sabbath invited you on stage to play a song, what would it be of theirs?
Whatever they wanted. If they wanted, my personal choice, I love Never Say Die. That's my favorite of all Black Sabbath songs. Because, it kind of, although Black Sabbath songs have a certain kind of color to them, and what they mean, and having that kind of mysticism to it and stuff like that, to me, Never Say Die always represented that, not going to ever give up attitude. That, that some people, that's all they have at the end of the day to get them through the day. It's just that hope, as you say, not giving up.
So how does Dave Mustaine keep the fire from his youth? Because you still have that on stage. Right now you do too, but more so on stage.
You know what, Tim? We've gone through a lot of stuff, with the way that the music industry's been up and down, what certain types of music scenes demand from bands to be successful at the time. We've had records that were absolutely poignant and landed at the right spot. We've had other records we should have waited a little bit longer. Sometimes records come too close together, sometimes too far apart. Trying to make Marty Friedman happy when we were doing Cryptic Writings and slowing all those songs down like that. I'm thinking, like, why are we slowing these songs down? These are all the things people don't know about, and to talk about them, it just seems like you're whining. So we never really got into it, and like in my book, I didn't get into all that, he said, she said crap, about that stuff. It's my fault. I should have said no. But I think that fire's always been here. Sometimes the extenuating circumstances are what causes you to do things. And when you have guys around you that are listening to what you're writing and you're playing and they're saying, this sounds really good, and by all intents and purposes, it really is good, but it's just not, thrash metal, just not speed metal. Because, we're capable of doing that, but we haven't done it for a while. And fortunately for me, and I'm sure for a lot of your viewers, they're going to like this. I went back and I listened to all our back catalog, and I could see the songs that shouldn't have been released by Megadeth. There's a few of them that, there were songs that could have been sold to another band because they were good songs, but they just weren't right for us. And to go back and listen to some of the, the swing under stuff like The Conjuring and, and stuff off of So Far So Good So What, because that's the anniversary that's coming up. That's the stuff that really is exciting us right now. We've already started writing new riffs and stuff like that, so I'm pretty jazzed about it.
But you're passing the fire. This is a proud papa moment with this tour, with your son on board.
It is, like I was saying, Justice was a really great guitar player, so he's got a musical ear, so he knows what's good, and he's got a pedigree and stuff like that. And I think that he understands new bands a little bit better than I do, because I'm old school. What I know is what I know, and when I hear certain stuff that turns me off, it just turns me off. And I like to challenge the guitar. I don't like to have a guitar player that's challenged. So some of the bands I think are kind of taking a shortcut, and they're not really beating the hell out of their gear. And for me, that's what made me different, because I thought the guitar, like I saw somebody say one time, Jeff Beck makes his guitar sing, and I like to punch mine in the stomach, and so watching new bands come up, it's good to have someone that understands and can help, because he did help too with us with picking the talent for Gigantour.
Do you see any of you in him?
A lot. Some of the bad parts, a lot of the good stuff. More of his mom. His mom's really a great person, and he's the way I've watched him work with the acts and the talent that he has, and the relationship that he has with other people, has been really, really professional, and I'm really proud of him.
You've talked a lot about your youth and growing up, and it's kind of a contrast with having a youthful individual, your son, on the road with you. Many have said that Megadeth has saved them musically. What saved you musically when you were growing up on the streets?
Tim, I don't know. I think just not ever giving up. There was something that I just felt inside me that I mattered, and as much as people, they say things sometimes, when you're growing up, and they don't really realize how hurtful they are and how long they last, and something that, like making fun of somebody's hair color, or if they have freckles or something like that, or saying you're stupid when you're little, just the way people talk to people. I guess for me, I just built a guard around myself, and that I was not going to take shit from anybody ever, and that I was going to get what I wanted no matter what I had to do. Right. And again, like I said, I've made some mistakes, and I think that it's not how many things you do right, it's how many things you don't do wrong, because there's a lot of challenges in this business. So.
What was actually heavy musically back then, and what do you think is heavy now?
When I was a kid, heavy stuff was like Iron Butterfly and Blue Cheer, and stuff like that. And as I started to learn how to play the guitar, I got more into stuff like Judas Priest, and believe it or not, Bad Company was a really heavy sounding band. There's a band Focus that had that song Hocus Pocus, crazy stuff like that. And I think there was a lot of really great heavy sounding guitars, but they weren't always in a band. There was a psychedelic area where guitar really started to develop, and once the new wave of British heavy metal came over, that's when my guitar playing style was born.
Right. From the streets to the stages, it's got to be surreal to be able to tour around the world after you've had that kind of an upbringing.
I think to matter is a great feeling, and when you grow from being somebody who doesn't have a place to sleep at night, or you're living in a car or something, to being loved wherever you go, it's a great feeling, especially when you weather storms and musical stuff. It's like when you're on a sports team and the team starts losing. That doesn't mean everybody's a loser. It just means that something's not right.
They're not connected.
We had a lot of really great years, and a lot of times, things that on the outside look like they're us doing it are stuff like problems with management, problems with labels and stuff like that. Because our relationship with Universal right now is just amazing. The first photo shoot they did, Tim, they spent 6 times the amount of money that Roadrunner did on our last video for a photo shoot.
Insane.
And it doesn't.
It feels more like home.
Well, I feel respected again, and I think when you do that too, you're not scratching and clawing and figuring, God, I gotta make something click at radio, instead of just saying, screw radio and just write Megadeth songs. And that's what we feel like right now, like we're free, and it's just such a great feeling. I wish you could spend a little time and like a fly on the wall and just watch how we all interact now, because we're so much happier, all of us, and I think you'll see tonight on stage at Translates, because we're enjoying ourselves more. It's a real obvious, it's not, contrived.
And fans can see that, right? So what's left to conquer?
Well, I think we're just getting started. We've got a brand new band with David Ellison coming back, and he and Sean are becoming an amazing team. Sean and Chris just started really actively writing, and I'm excited to see what they can do. I don't want to always write everything, because I have a particular songwriting style, and I think it'd be cool to kind of infuse some new stuff in. Sean's already proven that he and I write well together with Head Crusher, and Chris did Beginning of Sorrow, which was kind of like some old, darker Megadeth kind of that polyrhythm kind of stuff. So we're really excited about what's going on. We got Countdown to Extinction Lives coming out in September, and after the whole traveling around with these 2 superstar bands, we have so much in front of us that we can choose to do whatever we want. We've got another tour that we've been offered at the end of the year, or do we want to go to the Pacific Rim again? And to be in that position, instead of going like, God, can we go out on tour, man? We need to pay the rent or something. It just feels good, and it helps heavy metal as a whole again too, because when the bigger bands go out there and they do that, they bring a lot of attention, so that some of the other bands will be able to play too.
Right. Well, congratulations on Super Clatter, man.
Thanks.
It was a surprise, so all the best, man.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See you later.